Alright, so attention and inhibition. So attention to a feature, space, time, object leads to suppression or inhibition of irrelevant information. This fundamental concept in attention theory suggests that when we focus on specific stimuli, the irrelevant ones are suppressed. The relationship between attention and inhibition is essential to understanding how we filter out distractions and focus on what matters. Now, allocentric versus egocentric reference frames. So we've already discussed this, but I'll still revise this. So allocentric reference frame, it is environment-centered or world-centered. Attention is directed based on spatial locations in the external world. While the egocentric frame is when attention is centered on the observer's body, that is, attention is directed based on the individual's position or perspective. Now, reaching and grasping, action planning. When you reach for an object, the attention you allocate to the object is processed differently depending on whether the action is perceived from an egocentric or allocentric frame. If you are reaching for a cup from your perspective, egocentric, your attention is directed differently than if you were reaching for it based on an environmental layout, allocentric. Now, negative priming, NP, is a delay in response when previously ignored stimuli are later presented as targets. NP is an inhibitory process where objects ignored earlier are associated with slower responses when presented later. Now, key results. NP occurs due to the suppression of distractor information during task performance. The magnitude of NP is reduced when the number of distractors to be ignored increases, indicating higher cognitive load. Implications. NP helps with filtering irrelevant information during visual search tasks, thus enhancing performance in complex environments. Populations with attentional deficits, ADHD, depression, and schizophrenia exhibit a reduced NP effect, indicating inefficiency in inhibition. Multitasking scenarios. When trying to focus on a primary task, for example driving, previously ignored distractions like other cars or pedestrians make you react more slowly if they later require your attention. Now, race model and stop signal paradigm. So the core concepts are race model. This model explains decision making in situations where multiple responses are possible. So I'll highlight that. It posits that the first response to reach a decision threshold is executed while the others are inhibited. Posits that the first response to reach a decision, let me just wait, text color should be black here. First response to reach a decision threshold is executed while the others are inhibited. Stop signal paradigm is basically experimental setup, measures the ability to inhibit responses. Participants are instructed to respond to a stimulus unless a stop signal is presented, in which case they must cancel the response. Key results. Stopping versus response execution. The ability to cancel the response, inhibit action is linked to the stop signal reaction time, SSRT, which measures how long it takes for an individual to inhibit a response once the stop signal is given. Winner-take-all model. In scenarios where multiple responses are available, the response that reaches its threshold first wins and the others are suppressed. Driving, for example. In emergency situations, the decision to brake or swerve, braking or swerving must be made quickly. The brain's race to decide which action to take is akin to the race model. The stop signal would represent an emergency override, example, a signal to stop the action immediately.